The water's cold.
It's a fjord. You're not going swimming.
Boo. You're such a wet blanket, teddy bear.
You know I don't like it when you call me...
Edward. Edward Charles Harden, Esquire.
Will you promise to behave on land?
Don't I always?
Lissy, promise.
Oh, piffle and phonus balonus, Teddy. You ought to know better than to ask. Yes, I'll behave. I'll be a proper young lady. I shan't run or climb things or laugh too loud or call anyone old bean. Aside from you. So, do you think we'll find your Betty in, what did you call this village? Gravewick? Groovewick? Greywick? It's an odd language. I don't much care for it. Perhaps Betty found herself a burly Viking warrior and went native. Put horns on her hat, drinks mead out of a chalice, eats goat meat off the bone, that sort of thing. Teddy, how do you know Betty's still here?
I just do. In her letter, she wrote about...
But that's months ago. She could have gone anywhere.
Without writing or telegraphing her editor in New York, she wouldn't do that. Betty's...
Oh, the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees, Little Miss Perfect.
Alice, you're talking about my sister.
Fine. I'm sorry. Elizabeth Sidarb. We all love her dearly. And Teddy Bear, Edward, we will find her. Betty's fine. Why, we'll see her as soon as we get to shore. She'll shower you with kisses and berate you for coming all this way from Hanover, Massachusetts to the middle of absolutely nowhere Scandinavia way just to chase her down. Everything will be Jake, old fruit. Is that it? Is that Groovewoke? It looks so peaceful and beautiful and so desolate. Like a place built for ghosts.
Finally. I don't think I could do this for much longer.
Can't you row any faster? I'm getting frightfully bored.
How about you take over, Alice?
You slay me, Teddy, old bean. Was that thunder?
Still distant. The boat will be in safe harbor by the time the weather arrives.
So you say. But I say put your back into it, because we're sitting ducks out here. Quack, quack. It's so quiet. Where is everyone?
Probably working. I know it's a foreign concept to you, but that's something normal people do.
Hardy har har.
The Fretland farm is up the hill somewhere.
Up where?
I believe it's that farmhouse, all the way at the top.
Hot dog! Let's ankle!
Hold on. Let me read the letter from Mrs. Fretland first.
I'll meet you up there, old sport. I want to explore. Last one. Where are you going? All right. Last one's a skunk's tail.
Be careful. The ground's muddy. You could slip and fall.
See you in 2 shakes.
Dear Mr. Harden, we would like to extend an invitation to visit our home. Troubled to hear of your sister's disappearance. No news to share. You'll find our farm on top of the hill. I hope I got that right. Look forward to seeing you here in October. Yours faithfully, Anna Fretland. Well, I'm here. Where are you? Did you make it to Grovik, Betty? And why did you pick this forlorn hole under the mountains? Also sprach Zarathustra.
Teddy, are you coming? I'm almost there.
On my way. Righto. Step to it, teddy bear. Lissy!
I'm waiting for you at the barn. This way!
What took you so long?
I'm not 17.
Nor are you 70. Put some spring into your step, old sport.
Did you see the flag? It's at half-mast. Someone died.
So this is it, huh? Nice digs. But seriously, where is everyone? This is
Up in the mountains, maybe.
herding goats? Are they goat herders? I took them more for fisher folk.
The rain's picking up. We should get indoors.
You first, old bean.
Hello? Anyone there? Mr. Fretland? Mrs. Fretland? This is Edward Charles Harden, the American. We've exchanged letters.
Maybe they went on holiday and left the door open. Give it a shake and a rattle.
You can't just barge into their home.
It's not a crime if you're invited.
I'm coming in. This is Mr. Harden. Hello? Is anyone home? This is the kitchen. Hello? Anyone there? Ah. Hello? Is anyone home?
This house? Ah, this is nice. Charmingly rustic. The Boston Beaumont would pay a pretty penny for this setup. I thought foreigners lived differently. This is almost like an American home.
People are people wherever you go.
Thanks, Proust.
You can see the whole village from up here.
Do you want to go sightseeing?
Tomorrow. It's getting late, and the rain's not abating.
Look! Family pictures. They must be the, what did you call them? It's on the tip of my tongue.
There's the Stave Church.
Do you think that's where they've all gone? Maybe there's a very popular funeral.
The flag was at half-mast, but no sign of life out there.
Where do you think they've gone?
The Fretlands.
The Fretlands, the Hansons, the Jensens, all of them.
I'm sure they'll be back soon.
It's like a dead land. As though its soul has departed.
The Fretlands.
Right. Anna and John?
Johann.
This is honestly not what I'd pictured. They're very presentable. Not at all like turnip farmers.
They're not turnip farmers. That must be Johann Fretland, master of the house.
What makes you think he's the master of anything? It's 1923, Teddy, old boy. Women can vote. Johann went and found himself a delectable bride.
Alice, please.
What can I say? She's a minx.
Anna Fretland is a respectable woman. Her letter was courteous and professional.
Didn't you say she was a city girl? Must have been awfully hard to adjust to life in the sticks. I can relate.
Hanover isn't the sticks.
Says you. Old Johann's a bit wooden, isn't he? Like someone put a stick
They're
up his...
posing for a
up his
photograph.
rear end. I say, loosen up, Johann! I'm sure you two stiffs will get along famously. I'm guessing their daughter is the master of this house. She's cute as a button. I can't wait to meet her. She's guaranteed to be more fun than you.
Dear Mrs. Fretland, I trust this letter finds you and your husband in good health. I wrote to inform them about when I'd be arriving. So where are they?
Do they even have calendars? Maybe they don't know what day it is.
Home feels very far away.
Are we feeling melancholy again?
I've never been this far from Hanover.
It's about time we got you out of that dreary old house, Teddy Bear.
I asked about Elizabeth.
And they hadn't seen her?
Mrs. Fretland promised she'd write if she heard anything. There wouldn't be many female reporters from New York and Western Norway.
Why would she come here in the first place?
Betty always has her reasons. Home feels very far away.
Are we feeling melancholy again?
I've never been this far from Hanover.
It's about time we got you out of that dreary old house, Teddy Bear.
The thought of boarding that infernal ocean liner again.
I quite enjoyed it. So much room for exploration and mischief.
So many opportunities for seasickness and claustrophobia.
Don't be a Debbie Downer. I'm sure your tummy will be better behaved on the return voyage.
It's really coming down.
How about a quick run in the rain?
You can't be serious.
You're already a wet blanket, Teddy Bear. It's not like you'll get any wetter. Did you hear something?
No.
Must be the wind under the door. Wait, is that... Are they... Who's... They're all twins. All of them.
That's Johan and Anna Fretland.
There are two of each, Edward. Two of each.
Frederick and Margaret. Twins marrying twins.
My mind's reeling. This is just too adorable.
May 26th, 1899. They'll be celebrating their silver anniversary next year. The books are all in English.
Isn't that a bit odd?
Mrs. Fretland is Scottish, though she grew up in Aalesund.
Have you been secretly communicating with Johan's winsome wife, Edward, dearest?
Certainly not. She was the one who wrote me, because Mr. Fretland's English isn't
I was
as...
only joking. Lighten up, old sport. Don't be such a pill. What are you looking at there?
A book.
Strange place for a book. Unless it was a terrible book that deserved a good burning. What's the title?
The cover's charred. Christmas 1922. To Ruth, from Simon. Why would someone burn this?
Like I said, maybe it was a terrible book. Is Simon one of the Freddylanders?
I don't think so. They only have the one daughter.
Well, those boys look proud as peacocks. What does it say there? Groovy?
Gruben, the mine.
Maybe that's where everyone is. Digging for precious jewels in the Stygian abyss.
From what I learned of this place during the brief stay in Aalesund, the iron mine shut down 20 years ago. Frederick and Johan Fretland, founders of the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
They're the spitting image of each other.
Twin brothers and business partners.
And they married twin sisters. Adorable. Who's the boy? He looks related to the other two.
The mine was only in operation until 1902. They must have lost a fortune. An iron mine wouldn't pay itself off in 5 years.
Can we go spelunking? Perhaps we'll find trolls in the abyss, and we can steal their ill-gotten gold.
There was a cave-in. It'll be unsafe.
Oh, boo.
Johan Fretland exits Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
So the brothers parted ways?
Johan sold his share to focus on farming.
Well, that must have put a damper on their relationship.
Tragic accident befalls the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
What happened?
The mine collapsed, killing 3 workers, including Arne Fretland, Frederick and Johan's younger brother.
That's awful. How old was he?
19.
He might be the boy in the photograph.
Operations were suspended after the accident. Foreign investors out of Frederick Fretland's mining company. Dire financial consequences for Fretland, who must have had a difficult time after his brother Johann Fretland pulled out earlier this year.
Johann was smart to exit when he did.
The timing is curious, like he knew something was about to go awry. Betty.
Have you gone screwy again, Teddy? That's not Betty.
Her
That's...
scarf. I'd know it anywhere.
It doesn't look like anything to me. It just
She bought
looks
it in
like...
Bloomingdale's the Christmas before last. When she came home that year, she showed it off, dancing around the sitting room until I got dizzy watching her.
I think you're misremembering. She couldn't make it home that year. Again.
No, You're wrong. I'm sure she was there.
Whatever. It's not like you pay any attention to me when Betty's around. I might just as well be a ghost.
Look, it is her scarf. It even smells like her perfume. Shalimar.
But what if that's not...
She's here. I'm finally going to find her.
That's great, Edward, really. I wouldn't want you to get your hopes up. I mean, where's everyone gone to? Something's not right, I'm telling you. Teddy? Edward, what's wrong?
Lightheaded, that's all.
You're having another spell. You know what happens when you exert yourself. Sit down. That's an order from your...
I just need to catch my breath. Just for a moment.
I want you to lie down. Lie down and close your eyes. It's been a strenuous day. What with the rowing and the dragging of the suitcase up the hill.
Well, what if the Fretland...
I'll keep an eye out. I promise. If they come home, I'll wake you. Now, lie down, close your eyes, breathe deeply.
I'm just going to...
Shh.
Elizabeth? Is that you? Betty? Lissy? Lissy, are you here? Lissy! Hello? Hey, who's there? Betty? Elizabeth? Wait! Lissy, there's someone outside. It might be Betty. Are you here, Lissy? Who's out there? Hello? Betty? Lissy? I'm not alone. I can hear you! Who goes there? Wait! Someone there?
Hello? Are you there, Betty? Betty, is that you? Elizabeth, are you there?
The boat, Edward! Where's our boat?
Lissy.
It stopped raining, and you were sleeping. So I went out, and... our boat, it's gone.
The boat... What? How?
Maybe you didn't secure it properly.
I pulled it up. I don't know. I thought I tied it securely, but... Did you see Betty?
Did I see... What are you talking about?
I think... Betty? It was Betty. It was her. It must have been her. I saw her face in the window, and she vanished into the dark, towards the sea. You really didn't see anyone.
I haven't seen a single soul. Are you sure it was her and
Yes.
not...
I mean, I saw her face, and it looked like her.
Well, if it was her, why did she run away?
I don't know. It's getting dark. Back to the house. And tomorrow...
Tomorrow's another day, Teddy Bear. We'll figure it out. Right now, let's get you cleaned up. Look at you. You've got mud all over yourself. And then you really need to sleep. You must be exhausted. Come on.
I will find you again.
Teddy, come outside. It's a beautiful day.
I just about given up on you ever waking up. Sleep well?
I dreamed of Betty. In the garden. And she called for me.
How about you, Lissy dearest? Oh, you know me, old fruit, wide awake at first light.
The Fretlands didn't come home, did they?
They did not. There's no sign of anyone. Aside from last night's mistwalker.
I've been thinking about that.
What?
I'd just woken up.
Where are you going?
I'd just woken up. I was groggy and the mist was thick as pea soup. I don't know if I saw what I thought I saw.
You were chasing a ghost?
I didn't get a good look. I'm not even sure there was anyone there.
Oh, there must be someone here. And I'm not talking about ghosts. Or goats. What was it you said yesterday? Maybe they're looking down on us from the mountaintops.
I'll take a gander. The Fretlands will be home soon. And Betty's here. I know it. I feel it.
If you say so, Teddy Bear. Have you had your noodle juice yet?
I'm not rummaging through their cupboards.
You'll be a pill without your tea and toast, old bean. We need... Where are you going? You'll be a pill without your tea and toast, old bean. We need to get you sorted.
I'm not hungry. First point on the agenda. Find the natives.
A mission! Hot dog! I'll scout ahead. I'll meet you down by those houses.
Let's uncover your secrets, Grovik. Lissy!
By the village houses, Teddy!
Up here. It's such a beautiful day. You could bottle and sell this air in Boston. It's frankly medicinal.
Careful you don't fall.
You suck the fun out of everything, old boy.
We're far from any doctor. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
That's not very likely, is it?
I thought you were scouting ahead.
What do you think I'm doing? Vantage point, like on a pirate ship. I can probably see our house in Hanover from here.
Did you check those buildings?
Knocking on doors isn't a scout's job, old bean.
Lissy, are you here?
Yeah?
There must be someone around.
Only one way to find out, old sport. Did you check all the houses?
Hello? Anyone here?
Why, hello, Mr. American. Please. No one home?
Hello? Who's there? Hello? Anyone home? September 21st, 1923. Vi desperate. Lissy, found something here. Escalated from words to stones. Blood has been spilled. The curse haunts us all. There is no hope left in... Good sforlata. Good.
God. Right. In this God-forsaken place. The death of the... Jiminy. Death of the children was the end of Grovik. Whatever remained of our souls departed with them.
You should see this, Lizzie.
The letter just trails off. Was never sent. Did you see this door closing?
It was just the wind, Teddy Bear. You're as skittish as a pussycat. There's one more house. Third time's the charm.
Anyone home?
Unless they're playing hide and go seek, I'd say that's a no. Three strikes, you're out.
I don't think anyone's been home for a while. Someone painted the word traitor on one of the doors. And there was a letter. It sounded foreboding.
Still think everyone's up in the mountains, herding goats?
I saw some sheds down by the water. There's the general store, the church.
In other words, time for some sightseeing? Well, it's a bright and beautiful day, and we have nothing better to do.
What on earth are you doing?
Handstands, Teddy! My record is 2 minutes. I'm working on 3. Just go on ahead. I'll catch up. How about we don't go back to Hanover and stay here instead?
And how would I survive?
Hunt? Harvest? Forage? People have survived here for centuries. Why can't we?
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
I could learn. I'd start with goats.
Applesauce.
Why lock any doors? I can't imagine they have a prop.
Fretland and Son.
How do you figure?
It's on the sign above the entrance. And on this photograph. Frederick and Simon Fretland. Simon Fretland. Frederick's son.
And Johann's nephew. See, I'm getting the hang of this. Simon. That was the name in the burnt book. So Simon is Ruth's older cousin.
The older gentleman is clearly Mr. Fretland's twin brother.
Twins are confusing. If this was a dime novel, they'd be switching places at some point to confuse the coppers. Damn you, twins!
The telegraph is out of order.
Well, there goes my plan. NOSOS.
This was 2 years ago, but the notice is still up.
How can it take 2 years to get something like that fixed?
If they couldn't afford it? Or couldn't get anyone to come fix it?
Well, this place really is off the map. Here be dragons.
The ferry route is no longer operating.
Rats!
Mrs. Fretland already informed me in her letter.
I know. Still warned.
They had a memorial service for the accident in the mine. On July 24th, in the village church.
For something that happened 20 years ago?
It still affected their lives. There's no damage to the rope.
I don't know what that means.
Nobody cut it. I guess the knot could have unraveled on its own.
Didn't you say you used a sailor's knot?
I'm a scholar, not a fisherman.
So who took our boat? A ghost?
There must be a logical explanation. It's safe to say no ghost in the night stole our boat.
If you say so. But then who were you chasing after last night? A ghost?
I don't know. It was probably all in my head. Betty would have taken plenty of constitutionals here. She loves the outdoors.
How so? She's a city girl.
I'm sure she gets tired of Manhattan. And when she was little, she loved playing in the garden back in Hanover.
A boat! Teddy! A hot dog! This is our ticket out of here!
Not without Betty. Besides, the wood's rotted through. This boat isn't seaworthy. It's curious. The state of the boats. It's like they stopped taking care of them.
Seems short-sighted. How would they fish? What's this?
Remnants of the mining operation.
What, mine?
Remember, I told you yesterday. There was a mine here, but it closed down 20 years ago.
I know, Edward. I was just checking for a sense of humor. Still nowhere to be found. What did they use this for?
Bringing the ore down from the mine before it was loaded onto boats.
So, diamonds? Gold? Or just boring old silver?
Iron ore.
Or what?
Rock, which contains iron
I know.
deposits that...
Okay, Edward. Where do these tracks lead?
To the mine. Where else would they go?
I don't know. A castle up in the mountains where the frost giants live? And this is how they receive their monthly offering of meat from the villagers. Goat, I hope. I don't understand why they just leave this here. Like an altar to adversity. It's creepy.
Rustic superstition. Perhaps they believed they'd attract bad luck if they moved it. Til minne om. It's a memorial. 3 men died when the mine collapsed in 1902. Georg Hatlestad, Niels Framberg, Arne Fretland.
See, this is why working a regular job. Did you say Fretland?
The younger brother who was mentioned in the article. The newspaper said the accident forced the mine to shut down.
What does any of this have to do with us?
I still don't know why Elizabeth came here.
And you think it has something to do with this mine?
Or with what it did to the village. Maybe. He was just 19.
How long had he been working in the mine? That's too young for a dirty job like digging into rock.
We're in the real world, Lissy. Most teeners don't have the luxury to idle away their days with games and witty repartee.
Ouch.
No trespassing for traitors.
Cool. Want to jump the gate and explore what's on the other side? What do you say, old sport?
The sign says no trespassing for a reason.
Come on! There may be trolls, or at least more houses. Where's your sense of adventure, old sport? Don't you want to see where these tracks go?
They lead to the old mine, and no. I've had enough adventure on this side of the fence. Besides, they wrote no trespassing for a reason.
You're such a terrible bore, Teddy Bear. I'll wager 1,000 clams you'll jump this gate at some point, if you believe Betty's on the other side.
Frederick Fretland. Who are these traitors he refers to?
What now? We've looked everywhere.
There really doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Maybe we missed something. An important clue. How about the general store? We haven't been inside yet.
It looked deserted, but worth another look, I guess.
What if everyone turned into a pebble? And they can't speak, but they see and feel everything that happens to them.
There's something very wrong with your head.
Wouldn't that just be awful? Why, I'd be a murderer.
Is that? Lizzie, come here. It's Betty's hat. She was here. She could still be in there. Betty? Betty!
Are you sure, Edward? I mean, it's just a hat. Is it even a hat? I'm not
I
sure.
know my sister's hat, Lizzie. I have to get inside.
What about the breaking and entering part?
I could care less what they call it. Here's an open window.
You seem eager to break the law. I approve.
It won't budge.
Nah, don't be a milquetoast.
Well, it's stuck.
Attaboy, Teddy. You can do this.
I can't believe I'm actually breaking... Whoops, Daisy.
Oh my, Teddy. You're such a sap.
Edward Charles Hart.
Tanty, world traveler, cat burglar.
A cat burglar would, by definition, enter a building on a higher
Jeez,
floor.
The state of this place.
Oh, Betty.
Edward,
I hope you weren't here when...
is this... blood?
Not necessarily human blood.
Well, that's all right then. What does it say? Barn murder? Someone murdered a barn?
Barn means child. And mortar, that's...
Child murder. Edward, they murdered a child?
Someone thought so. Damnation. The hat's in here.
Calm down, old boy. Anyway, how's the hat going to help us?
Who knows what else is in here? There could be more clues.
All right, okay. Everything's Jake. We made it into the store. I'm sure we'll find a way through that door.
I'm not sure how I feel about being in here.
Don't be ridiculous. We're all alone. What else do you suggest we do?
These were never sent.
How long have they been piling up?
I received Mrs. Fretland's letter in June, and they received my letter from July.
A couple of months. Perhaps the world forgot about Grovik.
Out of order.
Why hasn't it been fixed?
Perhaps there wasn't much demand for it anymore.
S-O-S. Oh boy. If only this thing worked. We could order a boat to come get us. Or, even better, order some hot grub. What are you doing?
Looking for keys.
Your life of crime can...
There's a note.
Is it written in Viking runes? What does it say?
It's from Simon. Jeg putted means I put. Nøkkel is key. Casa. I don't know what that word means.
He put the key in the casa?
Casa. I wish I had my dictionary. The note's addressed to his father.
So the key was moved. But where to?
Somewhere safer. Or more convenient.
Can we really trust your translations? You only started studying a month ago.
I spent the summer reading, and I had a lot of free time on the ocean voyage.
Come on, how much could you possibly pick up in a few months?
You know my mind, it's a sponge. Casa.
So that's what it means. Cash register. You're a genuine gangster now, old fruit. Don't worry. If you get busted, I'll come visit you in the big house. The Vandals weren't here for the money.
I think money was the last thing on their minds.
Wasn't there supposed to be a key?
Here it is. Why would Frederick keep a list of what he calls traitors?
What did they do to him?
Cross him in some way. Why else keep a list of undesirables? It's the same photograph as in the farmhouse.
Johann's gone. At least, I assume he's the one who's been... snip.
Frederick clearly did not want anything to do with his twin brother. It is her hat.
Teddy, I'm not sure
Betty
that's...
was here, and not long ago.
Okay, but if that is her hat, what's it doing in a locked storeroom?
Another breadcrumb.
That's not an answer.
I know for sure she was here. That's what matters.
You know best, Edward. So, what now? If this is a breadcrumb, where's the next one?
There must be a reason her hat's in this room.
What's that?
A handwritten note.
I'm not blind. What does it say, you silly goose?
It's hard to read. I'm not sure my translation will be... Johann, you... Nectar. Refuse. You refuse to speak to me, so I write this letter instead. It's from Frederick Fretland to his brother. Simon did not... Bloody hell. Simon did not murder your Ruth. He was fond of his cousin.
Ruth. Ruth is the daughter of Anna and Johann, which means the little girl in the photograph at the farmhouse. Oh, Edward. The Fretland girl was murdered. This is simply awful.
Simon was working at the farm while I tended to the store. I would have seen him had he passed on the way up to the cliffs.
They thought Simon killed Ruth. His own cousin.
Ruth was... what's that word? Playing. Ruth was always playing on the rocks below the church. She must have fallen by accident. The note ends there. Frederick never finished it. And Johann never read it. Not that it would have made a difference. If Johann thought...
The mob showed up for Simon. His father would have tried to protect him.
September 17th. You would have been here, Betty.
Rock's below the church. Isn't the church right above us? Edward, come look at this. That's the cliff. Right there. The one in the note? I bet you 1,000,000 clams.
Where?
See for yourself.
I guess that could be where...
Let's check it out.
No, Lissy, wait.
This way. Teddy, up here.
I found it, Teddy. The cliff. I'm standing right below it.
What are you doing? This doesn't concern
A
us.
little girl died. We're staying in her home, for God's sake. Are you completely without heart?
Whoops-a-daisy. What is this?
Where little Ruth died.
You're being morbid. And this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl got
Edward.
herself...
You insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. You've... please look at me when I'm talking to you. As I was saying, you've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours, with only books and bugs to keep you company for years and years and years. Please look at me when I'm talking to you. All right. There are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. You're going to do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together.
I've seen all there is to see. I'm going back.
You can't leave. We might have missed something important.
That's been here a while.
Didn't you say it happened over a month ago?
You'd think her family would have replaced it with fresh flowers. It's a long fall. Far enough to crush the girl's skull.
Edward Charles Hardin.
What?
Oh, you're hopeless. Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful. I think there's something behind it. Can you move the rock aside? It must be Ruth's.
Where's the head?
Maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Hold on. This pin. This is old. Very old. Looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong on a child's doll.
Who cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further up. Maybe we'll find more clues. Come on, old sport. It's not far.
Can you wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath? Huh? Did you follow the same path, Betty? Or am I just stumbling through darkness?
You can see clear beyond the edge of the world.
One
Oh,
second.
Teddy Bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean? Can you see where she fell? Seeing as you're so concerned about me falling out of trees, I wouldn't want to risk falling off a cliff.
Certainly high enough to kill a child.
If I had to go, this would be the way to do it. Soaring through the air like a bird.
And landing like a rock. If she fell headfirst on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more. She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
No, absolutely not. I don't have time for this nonsense. We're running out of daylight, and Betty's still... You're still out there. Lissy, slow down. I can't keep up with you. Who knows what's up there? It's not worth the risk of falling and breaking something. Lissy? Are you there?
Teddy,
My word. Look away, Lissy.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
This is just ghastly. What made him do this? How long has he been...
From the state of the body, perhaps a couple of weeks. It depends on...
What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said when
Stop.
your mother drowned
Don't.
herself? Sorry. Who was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or Frederick. And he's too old to be Simon.
Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran,
No.
and
This happened later.
there's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just
Where are you going?
I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace? You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. It's tragic, but really none of my concern.
Betty, Betty, always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
I'm trying to talk to you, Edward. Please pay attention. Edward, look at me when I'm talking to you. What if that was me up there? Would you care that? Look at me when I'm talking to you. What if that was me up there? Would you care then? All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh.
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for your Betty.
I'll have to dig a grave. I'm going to be sick. I can't do this.
Yes, you can. Teddy. Edward. I know you can. You've been through much worse. Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight,
They're not coming back.
perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened?
She was probably murdered.
And you think Simon did it?
Your guess is as good as mine. It could have been an accident.
You're really not helping.
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
I know. I'm sorry. Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine. The Fretlands could still come home.
All right. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking.
I really thought I'd find Betty today.
Well, I told you not to get your hopes up, Edward. I mean, we just got here. It's a big place. She could be anywhere. What did you find?
Someone tried to burn this.
Just like the book. Isn't that odd?
It's addressed to Mrs. Fretland. My dearest Anna. It's from her sister, Margaret. Frederick's wife. The two brothers married sisters, remember?
Yes, and it's adorable. Keep reading.
I really shouldn't.
Really? How else are we going to figure out what happened? Keep reading.
My dearest Anna, I miss you so very, very much. The baby is due soon, and I wish for our family to reunite before... It's been 7 years since the dreadful incident at the mine. Can we not convince Frederick and Johann to forgive and forget? I know there are things Frederick has not told me about what they found and why they parted ways. Their grudge is tearing us all apart. Frederick won't even let me speak to half of our neighbors, accusing them of treason. He's so very angry and full of regrets. It's eating him up. And we...
And we what?
The rest is unreadable.
Margaret reached out to her sister, but I guess it didn't work.
This was written before Simon was born, but burned recently. feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Do you think Simon killed Ruth?
It's not important what I think.
I don't know what to believe. Sometimes children do monstrous things. It's almost painful to look at this photograph now. Their whole world fell apart. Ugh, I can't bear to think about it. Now that we know what happened to Ruth, this empty house is even spookier.
It's a house, nothing more.
You know better than most that souls can linger. Especially if they died
There's
in
no such thing as a soul.
life force, ghost, whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The only ghosts are in our minds.
Says you.
The two brothers married twin sisters, Anna and Margaret Taylor. That's the Grovik stave church behind them.
All those hopes and dreams, ground to dust by misfortune.
I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
The mine must have been a big deal for Greywoke.
Grovik. An opportunity to do more than live hand to mouth.
What a blow it must have been to lose it all. It's the same photograph we saw in the store.
Except this one's whole.
So the brother who owns the store
Frederick.
was angry with Johann before Ruth. Because
Because of the mine. It all comes back to the mine.
the mine must have been a big deal for Greywoke.
Grovik. An opportunity to do more than live hand to mouth.
What a blow it must have been to lose it all.
Johann and Frederick Fretland. Thick as thieves, before things took a turn.
Don't you always say that much of our pain is self-chosen?
I wonder about that. These headlines make more sense now. Johann sells his share, and the cave-in occurs shortly thereafter, killing 3 people.
Including the younger brother.
The investor pulls out, leaving Frederick with the bills.
Oh, I feel awful for everyone. Losing a brother, losing the business.
There were no happy endings here.
What are you doing?
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's healthy.
Not now, please. I'm exhausted. I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Quite the day, huh?
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
There are no...
Hush now. Sleep.
Alice!
Upstairs.
Alice?
I'm upstairs. Teddy? Is that you?
This is her room.
Hmm?
Are you paying attention? Ruth. Can you imagine? One moment you're living a perfectly happy life, and then... nothing. Darkness. Forever and ever. Maybe there's something here that can tell us what happened to her.
This is a waste of my time.
We might be the only ones left to tell her story, Edward.
You're just being melodramatic.
I'll help you look.
Ruth was an artist.
This is very primitive.
Have you ever met a child, Edward? She wasn't Monet, she was 8. This must be the village church. That's Ruth and her family on one side of the aisle, Simon and his father on the other.
A community divided.
She found something.
Where's that supposed to be?
A cave. Or the...
Mine. It could be. But what did she find?
something important enough to draw. That must be Ruth and Simon's fathers.
Perhaps. They weren't on the best of terms.
They look like they want to kill each other.
To a child, maybe it looked worse than it was.
Children are more insightful than you give them credit for, Teddy Bear.
Draugen.
Hey, the undead monster from those folk tales you read.
What an odd book for a child to have.
I don't know. Children love scary stories. This looks interesting. Read some of it to me, please.
In Norwegian folklore, the appearance of Draugen, the reanimated corpse of a drowned mariner, heralds death. Draugen haunts the Black Seas in a shattered boat. The beast has a man's body and wears a sou'wester. But instead of a head, there is tangled seaweed, and the revenant's chilling cry freezes mortal blood to ice. Draugen has the power to enter the dreams of the living. If you wake from such a dream, you have been spared, though someone close to you... That's enough of that. It's nonsense, of course. Not something a child should be reading.
Do you think Draugen took our boat? Maybe he's out there, on the fjord, waiting for nightfall so he can return to shore.
No.
Your soul lacks poetry, Edward Charles Harden. I pity you. She made her bed that morning, before she...
Or her parents did. It doesn't matter. It tells us nothing.
Why are you like this today? Betty's not the only person in the world that matters.
She matters the most to me.
Ain't that the truth? Ruth never finished this. What does that spell? F-O-R-B.
For Banelson. The curse.
Who's that figure supposed to be? It's creepy. It looks a bit like the Draugen in her book.
A figment of her imagination. But the box she drew... It looks like this box under her desk.
Really? Let me see. Pull it out. What is this?
I believe this might qualify as actual treasure.
Is that Norwegian money?
Sort of, but ancient. Viking coins.
Are they valuable?
Not in terms of monetary value, but historically. Well, they belong in a museum.
Looks like Ruth had her own private museum.
Why would a child have these artifacts?
She must have enjoyed collecting and playing with them.
These are much too precious to play with. She should have given these to an adult.
She was a child, Edward. To her, they were just shiny toys. Wait! The pin! On the doll!
This is where it came from, her collection.
But where did she find these treasures?
If we're to believe her drawing, perhaps the mine. She may have found a gravesite. Wherever she found them, she wanted to keep them hidden.
You think someone found out?
These items wouldn't necessarily be worth much, except to a historian or archaeologist.
What if this is how... I mean, if someone learned she'd been collecting treasures, they might be willing to do terrible things. There's a story here. The treasure box, the drawings.
The overactive mind of an imaginative child.
Well, she didn't imagine the Viking artifacts. You shouldn't be so dismissive. The drawings could be her way of dealing with traumatic events.
This is what happens when I read you the principles of psychology. You get notions.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ruth was troubled. The village was troubled, and... Is that a bell?
The church bell. Someone's here. Maybe... Betty.
Why would Betty ring the church bell?
Perhaps she's in trouble. I need to get to the church right now.
Wait, isn't it more likely to be the person you saw the other night? We should be careful.
I told you, I'm not sure that was anything. Come on.
Go ahead. I'll catch up with you before you get there. I need a minute to think about all of this.
Are you coming?
In a minute. You go on ahead.
Where are you?
I'm up at the farm.
Where are you, Lissy?
I'm up at the farm.
Lissy?
I'm up at the farm.
July 24th. Memorial service. A commemoration of the accident at the mine this past summer. No services after that.
All these fresh graves. Do you think that maybe
No.
Betty
Why board up a church?
gone fishing?
God is not here.
Well, of course he isn't. You won't find God in a church. God is the wind in the trees, the grass between your toes, the brook that runs
That's
through.
nature, not God.
Who did this?
Someone who'd lost their faith.
Can you peek through the boards? See anyone?
No,
Listen! The bell! They're still in there!
Hello? I heard the bell!
Well, this is giving me
I'm here to help.
heebie-jeebies.
These boards look flimsy enough to break.
Look at that. The Ethel becomes an Edward. I didn't think you had it in you, old fruit.
Be quiet. Betty? Are you here? Hello? This is Edward Harden. I'm looking for my sister, Elizabeth.
Stop shouting, Edward. We're alone. There are only ghosts here. What's this rope for?
The bell. Lissy. Look. Betty's gloves. They are definitely Betty's.
Oh, for
She got
Pete's
these
sake.
in Boston before she left for New York. She bought them at Woolworth. I remember the day She's here.
Where? And why would she leave her clothes lying around? It doesn't make
Breadcrumbs.
sense.
She's sending me a message. She knew I'd recognize her gloves, her hat. She's left a trail for me to follow, like Ariadne's red thread.
We're not in a labyrinth.
Betty will have left more crumbs.
Betty. You're turning into such a pill. What happened here?
The sign on the door.
Isn't this a fire hazard?
They're not always lit. Each candle represents a single prayer.
That's a lot of prayers.
There were a lot of deaths. The church book, a record of births and deaths.
So we can find out what happened to the people in the village?
And, Elizabeth. I mean, if she was dead,
Her name would be in the book.
vandals. Tore it to pieces.
I don't think the missing pages left the church. Look,
They considered this a sacred place. For them to destroy it. This was an...
I've never seen you read the Bible.
For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
Did you just translate that into Old English?
I happen to...
Jesus looks sad.
What reason would Jesus have to be happy?
Don't be blasphemous.
Given that this is all fiction, blasphemy is a contradiction.
Heretic. How many pages are missing?
I counted 4.
They're probably all still here. I know. Let's make it a competition. 1-0 to Team Me. I wanted you to find that one. I know what a rotten loser you are. The final dinner.
The Last Supper. Who taught you about the New Testament?
I pick up on things. Most...
What are you doing? We're in a church.
Thought you didn't believe in God.
I do believe in civility.
What's that?
The last sermon that was held here.
What does it say?
The vicar's handwriting is hard to decipher, and the language. He talks about the village being divided for 20 years. This sermon was held on the anniversary of the accident this past summer. He's asking the congregation to help heal old wounds, to forgive, move on. Something to the effect of, you sit in separate aisles in God's house.
Like Ruth's drawing. I told you, she was perceptive.
Tilgi varandra.
Edward?
Forgive each other. It addresses Johann and Frederick directly. But I wonder if they were even here.
Remember the wedding picture? They were close friends once. How could they allow their grudge to escalate until...
You call each other traitors, but the only thing you've betrayed are the bonds that unite us. It sounds like Grovik was split in two, between those who stood by Johann and those who supported Frederick.
Because of Ruth?
The sermon is from before that. No, this is all about the preceding 20 years of division and disagreements. Here's something else. Many of you believe Grovik was cursed 20 years ago. God has not cursed you. This curse is of your own making.
Ruth's drawing mentioned a curse. What do you think that means?
It means they believed they were cursed, and that they needed... Yeah.
Found another one! You get it. It's right here. Just one more page missing. This is the bell we heard ringing?
I don't see any other bells.
So you have to stand here and pull this rope to ring it.
Yes.
But there was no one here. You didn't see anyone, right?
No. No one.
Ghosts. I'm telling you. It's ghosts. So what happened to the hunchback of Grovik?
They must be here still. There's only the one exit.
Maybe it was 2 for 2. A tie. Good job, Teddy. Old
Stop,
bean.
Lissy. This is not a game. Betty's out there.
Of horse feathers. Stop being so gosh darn tedious, Edward. Biddy, biddy, biddy. Will you ever shut up?
This book goes back years. It lists births and deaths. Here's the third Fretland brother. The one who died in a cave-in. Someone added the word for Banelson, probably quite recently.
What does that mean again?
Curse. That word is all over this book. Not just the men who died in the mine, but other deaths in the last 20 years.
Ruth's drawing and the sermon both mentioned a curse. What do you think it means?
I don't know. There were surprisingly few births.
Perhaps they blame that on the curse as well.
Look here. Ruth Elsa Fretland. She was buried in the cemetery. And the next entry, Simon Fretland. Now this is interesting.
Simon is dead? Oh, that's dreadful.
He drowned the day after Ruth died. Probably no coincidence. See what's scribbled next to it?
Mord?
Murder.
Who killed him? Ruth's father? Or the mob that trashed the store?
It doesn't say. After the children, a half-dozen deaths in a single week.
The curse.
It's listed as the cause for every single death.
Maybe there really was a curse.
Primitive superstition. But something changed after Ruth and Simon. It might explain why there's no one around.
Edward, if it killed everyone, how's that not a curse? What does that word say? Next to those names at the bottom. For
Traitor.
Edward? What's wrong?
The final entry. There's no name. Alice, what if...
Oh, Edward, no.
Betty,
It doesn't mean she's...
she's not dead. She can't be. I'd know. I'd know.
Teddy.
I need to see the grave for myself. It's not Betty. Betty's still alive.
Teddy? Where are you going? Don't leave me! Edward!
Must find that grave. Are you here, Lissy?
No need to shout.
Alice?
What is it?
Lissy?
Hello?
You'd better not be here, Betty. I'll never forgive you. Where is it? This one. It's unmarked.
What are you doing? Have you gone completely mad? Edward, stop it!
Thank God. It's not her. It's not Betty. It's not her.
Oh, Edward. What have you done?
It's not Elizabeth. I was so afraid.
You're a monster.
But I had to be sure. If Betty...
To hell with your Betty! When did she ever shed a tear for you?
Don't talk about my baby sister like
Or
that.
what? Or what, Edward? What will you do? Ignore us? Banish us? You've spent your entire life chasing her. When are you going to do something useful with what's left of it?
Quiet! Just... leave me be.
Fine.
Lissy? Alice? Come back. Don't leave me alone. Please. Come back. I need you. I was afraid you'd left me. Now listen to me. No! Lissy. Hey. Lissy, please listen to me. I didn't mean what I said.
Of course you meant it. Everything's always about Betty. Betty, Betty.
I care about you both.
Until it really matters. Then it's obvious who matters more.
I thought she was dead.
I wish she was!
Don't.
You deserve to be alone!
Please, talk to me.
What's there to talk about?
You can't keep running away from me.
You think you own me? That you control me? That you get to decide how I feel and what I do every minute of every day?
That I'm your puppet, your little plaything.
Well, fuck you, Edward Charles Harden! I never should have come here with you on this pointless chase!
Now, be reasonable. Lissy? What are you doing?
What I should have done years ago. Maybe now you'll learn to appreciate us.
Now listen to me. Please, listen. Hear me out. Don't do this. You can't do this to me. I need you. I'm not whole without you. I can't lose you. I can't live without you. Don't, please, don't, no. What? No! Oh, Alice. What have you done? Please, be all right. Please don't.
You make me sick, Edward. Your mother and father would be ashamed. Elizabeth would be ashamed. They did not think you deserved their love, so they abandoned you.
Don't.
Oh, my child. We are all that you have, and we love you. We are here. With us, you are never alone. Do not forget.
No, Never. Never. I never forget. I am never alone.
Wake up, Edward. Stop hiding. Where you go, we go, Edward. You cannot hide from us.
Where's Lissy?
Alice is not here.
Bring her back. Please. I need her.
Alice does not love Elizabeth like you do.
She loves me.
Not like I do, Edward.
I'm so tired. Please.
What do you want?
I think of you so often. You have no idea.
You just want me to forgive you so that we can keep looking for your precious, perfect Betty.
She needs us.
She never needed you, Teddy Bear. And she certainly doesn't need us.
I can't find her on my own.
Well, that's just too bad, my darling Edward. Because we're done playing second fiddle to little sis.
Wait, don't go. I'm talking to you. Lissy. Oh. Lissy, please. Listen. You can't keep vanishing on me.
Try me.
Why are you so angry?
You do not know anger, Edward.
Did you ever meet my father?
Alice does not want to speak with you.
Then what about you? Are you going to help me?
God helps those who help themselves.
I don't need God's help. I need Lissy.
Do you, though? Did you ever?
What? Of course, Alice, hear me out. Don't go. I depend on you both.
You can never depend on other people, Edward.
I'm not sure you count as other people.
Everyone leaves, one way or another.
You don't. You can't.
Is that a challenge?
Stop playing games.
Are you ordering me, Teddy Bear?
I'm asking you.
Didn't your father always tell you to stand up for yourself? To be a real man and not a sissy? Maybe that's why he put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. Kaboom! He was so disappointed about what his only son had turned into.
You're a monster.
Takes one to know one. Old fruit.
I gave you this jacket. Betty, you were here. I'm trying to talk to you. Alice, be reasonable. Lissy, I'm tired of chasing you. Lissy, look. Her jacket. I'm sure it wasn't here yesterday, which
Jesus
means
Christ,
Betty was
Teddy.
here.
Perhaps when we were out yesterday.
Betty,
she must have...
Betty.
You love Betty more than you love us. But don't you see? What has Betty done that we haven't? What can she do that we cannot? We've always been there for you. Why do you keep looking for her?
She's real. You're not.
So?
What? You decide what is real. We are real to you.
It will never be the same.
She does not want you.
Who are you talking to?
Why do you think Betty left? She was sick and tired of us. She wanted to escape.
Like Mother.
Drowning herself because she couldn't stand being around us.
Like Father.
Bang! Right in the coconut.
Stop.
You drive them all away, Edward. All into death.
Please.
But not us. We're always here for you.
I beg you.
You are never alone.
Stop! Leave me alone, both of you!
You want to be alone?
You really want to be alone?
Fine. You're alone.
Good.
Lissy! Betty? Elizabeth? Is that you? Are you upstairs? Betty? Betty! Are you in there? Open the door! I'm coming in! Stand away from the door! Betty? No! No, 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 no! Oh. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I thought it was you, Betty. But who? Anna.
from Johann, addressed to his wife. Did you notice the handwriting, Betty? He was clearly distraught. Knock ere knock. Enough is enough. After decades of strife, I pray that God will... Tilly, forgive me. I am tired of secrets. For 20 years I've kept my silence about our discovery, but my silence has only led to misfortune, and my cowardice has only led to death. I will make Frederick pay for what he has done to us, for what they have done to our Ruth. When it is over, I will let the ocean take me to you and Ruth. May God forgive me. Anna was already dead when he wrote this. He had no one else to confess to. What now, Betty? Johann went to confront his brother, probably at Frederick's farm. And then? You said this was a gift from another unlucky suitor. It was precious to you. You wouldn't have left it here unless... a signpost. A breadcrumb. You followed Johann to Frederick Fretland's farm, and then to the mine. You wouldn't let this go, Betty. You'd follow your story to the end. All the way to the end. So where is Frederick's farm? The gate. Frederick's warning. The path leads to his farm. The farm is on the way to the mine. Isn't that so, Betty? Are you still at the farm? Or did you go all the way to the mine? I need to see what you saw. Follow your story. The red thread you left. What led you to this place? All these fragments. You'd piece them together into a story, wouldn't you, Betty? So, what do we know? Johann and Frederick are partners, and on good terms. Something happens in the mine. Disagreements lead to a falling out. And at the end of it all, 20 years later, Johann walks this path to confront Frederick. Was this your doing, Johann? Did you burn your brother's farm to the ground? And where were you, Betty? Did you witness their fall?
Simon's grave. Born December 5th, 1909, died September 17th, 1923. Why bury Simon here and not at the cemetery? His wife's grave is also here. Perhaps Frederick wanted nothing to do with the church or with their God. I could really use your imagination, Betty. You'd figure this out in no time. What do you reckon, Betty? Let's try Simon's birthday. Another Viking artifact, Betty. Most likely from the same treasure Ruth found. Postmarked in Boston. That's a curious coincidence. Dear Frederick, I hope this letter, it's in English, Betty. Hope this letter finds you and the boy in good health. We're concerned about you both. No word from you for almost 2 years now. All of us still heartbroken about Margaret's passing. We know things have been difficult for you and Simon. Mr. Fretland, we expect you to take care of this problem. If the discovery is made public, the authorities will intervene and the mine will be shut down. Should this happen, we will consider it a breach of our contract, and we will withdraw our investment. You and your brother will be responsible for all debts and losses. Johann must be convinced to wall up the chamber. We have already dealt with the worker who made the discovery. The Fretland Mining Company. I wonder what this unlocks. You went to the mine. I hope our guardian angel watched over you. All right, Betty. So what happens next in your story? Johann and Frederick discover something in the mine. A cave or chamber of archaeological value. They argue about what to do. If the discovery is made public, it's the end of their enterprise. Johann is convinced or paid to walk away. Their secret stays hidden. Then, a few months later, the accident. 3 men die. The investors pull out. The mine shuts down. Frederick's up to his neck in debt. Cursed mine in Grovik. Locals struggle with bad crops and livestock deaths and blame it on... They thought they were cursed because of the mine. A thing like that becomes self-fulfilling. If you believe you're cursed, every misfortune feeds the delusion. So, 20 years pass. The Fretland feud tears the village apart.
setting neighbor against neighbor. And then, Ruth stumbles across the secret in the mine. After all this time, the truth may finally come to light, but she dies. And the day after, Simon is murdered. It's a catalyst. Old grievances resurface. No matter who you stand with, you're a traitor. Things escalate. More people die. From disease, despair, suicides, murder. All because of the mine. Because of what they found there. And what they covered up. There was no one to stop it, Betty. They were alone. That's the real curse of Grovik. Isolation. This place is cursed. Ridiculous. Ruth was here, the day she fell. Ruth was here, but there was someone else, and she ran, all the way to the cliff where... Do you know what happened, Betty? Did you witness it?
Hello? Betty, are you in there? Please answer me.
Betty, this is Mother's brooch. You always wore this. You wouldn't take it off unless... You left it here for a reason. What am I not seeing?
Betty? Elizabeth? Is that you?
Edward? Where are you?
I'm on my way, Betty. Wait for me.
Edward!
Stay where you are. I'm coming.
Edward! Where are you?
I'm on my way. I'm here, Betty. It's Edward.
Edward,
It's me.
please! Hurry!
I'm coming, Betty. I'm almost there!
Edward! Edward?
Just stay put!
Edward! Oh, Edward! Hurry!
I'm coming!
Edward, is that you? I'm in here.
Thank God. Thank God.
Elizabeth! There you are. Finally. You have no idea how long I've been looking for you. You had me so worried. I... Look. Your brooch. Mother's brooch. You must have lost it at the mine. Let me put it on for you, Betty. I wouldn't want you to lose it again. No.
She's been dead for 30 years, Edward. Elizabeth was never here. But we didn't come for her. We came for Johann, and Anna, and Frederick, and Simon, and Ruth. We're here to tell their stories.
No. Elizabeth. She's here.
You know Betty died when she was a baby. She drowned in the pond. And you found her. You were just 11. You carried her to your mother. And your mother...
She hated you for that.
She could never forgive you for bringing her baby to her. And you could never forgive yourself for what she did after. You always forget this. Because you don't want to be alone. So you bring Betty back. Again and again. To New York. To Boston. To the house. But always just out of reach. Never quite there. The scent of her. The echo of her. But never really her. All it does is make you lonelier. But the thing is, Edward, you're never alone.
You have us.
And you'll always have us. Betty's... She was never there for you. She couldn't be. You can't lose us. We're a part of you.
Forever. And ever. And ever.
But you need to let Betty go now. There's not room for all of us in there.
I couldn't save you, Elizabeth. I'm so sorry. It is as painful to wake from a vision as it is to be born anew.
Goodbye, Betty. Lissy!
I'm right outside. Teddy bear? Are you up? Come outside. It's a beautiful day.
Lissy!
I'm outside.
Had your noodle juice yet?
I might be weaned off this stuff.
Boo. Don't lose your taste for tea, old fruit. It keeps you human. We have unfinished business.
We do?
The final piece of the puzzle.
Ruth.
Come on. Let's go back to where it started. We have an appointment with a ghost. Such an amazing view, isn't it? And the air. Ugh. Boy, that sure is something.
What?
Where are you going? Edward, I'm talking to you. Teddy, where are you going? Edward, get back here. I'm talking to you. Where are you going? Edward, I'm talking to you. Teddy, where are you going? Edward, get back here. I'm talking to you. Where are you going? Edward, I'm talking to you. Teddy, where are you going? Edward, get back here. I'm talking to you. going? Edward, I'm talking to you. Teddy, where are you going? Edward, get back here. I'm talking to you. Where are you going? Edward, I'm talking to you. Teddy, where are you going? Edward, get back here. I'm talking to you. Where are you going? Edward, I'm talking to you. Teddy, where are you going? Edward, get back here. I'm talking to you. Where are you going? Edward, I'm talking to you. Teddy, where are you going? Such an amazing view, isn't it? And the air. Ugh. Why did we come here, Teddy?
To Grovik? Well... The letter to Frederick.
The one you found in his safe. From Boston.
I may have overheard a conversation somewhere, paid it no attention, but the name stuck. And Betty... And I spun a story around it that put us on this path.
Do you really believe that? I mean, how often are you around people?
Some places have gravity.
What are you saying? Gravewick's gravity pulled us across the Atlantic Ocean?
Grovik. No, I'm not saying that. That's irrational.
But you believe it, don't you? That we were summoned to tell their story.
To find my sister.
But Betty's not. She was never here. It doesn't make sense.
I'm a man of science. I don't know what to believe.
And yet, here we are. All three of us.
Is this what you wanted to show me?
I wanted to be close to her. Do you believe in ghosts, Edward?
You know I don't.
Well, you've been chasing one for years.
That's different.
What about me? Us.
You're not ghosts, you're alive.
Fair enough. So what really happened to Ruth?
She was probably murdered.
By Simon?
No. I don't believe it was Simon.
Then who? Frederick? The hanged man? Someone else?
Does it matter?
Maybe not. So she ran from the mine. And she came here. And then someone pushed her? If only she had wings. Like a bluebird. She could have soared away on autumn winds. But why was she killed?
Because of what she found.
Someone wanted the treasure. Or wanted to make sure no one else would find it. So instead, they cursed this place. And the curse killed everyone. including the murderer. I hope she's at peace. And with God. Do you think that's where everyone's gone?
Heaven? They're dead. I don't know what that means. Maybe there is more. I can't stop you from hoping. We'll never know what happened to everyone in Grovik.
We tried our best. We'll remember them. All of them. Maybe that will give them some peace in the afterlife. Could this be your book, Edward? The one you've been wanting to write? A story about people who are isolated, left behind by the world. You can give them all a proper ending, with no annoying loose threads. Edward! Is that—
Our boat? But how?
Who cares? Let's catch it before it sets out on another adventure.
I don't understand how this can be.
Draugen got tired of sailing around in it and brought it back to us.
It must have been the wind.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, teddy bear. Let's blouse, while the weather's still good.
I need my suitcase.
So get a wiggle on, old boy. I'm going to say my goodbyes to all the things. I don't think we'll be back. Meet you at the house.
My goodness. Righty-ho. No rush. We have all day.
talking to yourself again? Come on, Teddy. Pack your things. I'll meet you by the boat.
Do you never sit still?
Don't be a wet blanket. Let's make like the wind and get out of here.
You know, this house is starting to grow on me. I almost wish we had more time to dig deeper into the history of Grovik. Oh, look at that. The ground's finally dried up. Really is lovely here.
Come on, let's go. Row, Teddy, row.
The wind and the ocean are like music.
The water's still cold.
It's a fjord, Lissy, and it's almost winter.
There'll be snow when we get back to Hanover.
The house will be warm.
Are we going to be all right, Edward?
I think so.